my daily for a minute on ES, but it's about to get real here. I'll let you pull up yours if you'd like.
Sure. Oh,
Oh, here we go. Starting with bulls.
there we go.
Starting with bulls. We'll see here now what she gonna do.
Oh my God, the market is ripping to the upside. Let's
I
go.
know. She's throwing. I used to trade the first pop. I don't know. Yeah, the affluent was in it. Okay. I like the support area on the larger time frames. FOMC starts at 11 a.m. So that's when the volatility will pick up here. They'll announce their rate. It's like they did do the rate cut. It just popped. So previous was 4%, and the forecast was a rate cut by 0.25%, which is what they did announce. So that was as anticipated, is what it's showing. Glad you're in and out affluent. They often on these first pushes they'll wick like this. It's fast in and out. Whoop, whoop. Now we get to see what's going to happen. The first pump, oftentimes there's a response, which is what we're seeing now, and then we'll see what it plays out in the next little while here. Yeah, I really like the 30 minutes after the news hits. I like that time frame.
Will we get continuation?
Mhm. Uncertainty about economic outlook remains elevated. Nice.
Yeah, it's not too difficult to learn. That's a cool thing about volumetric. The platform is fairly simple. All right, Steve making money. I like it.
Yeah, printing.
Hearing talk that the Fed is going to slow rate cuts going forward, though, due to uncertainty. Great job, Nikki. Great job. Congrats.
Yeah. That's a nice green. Wait a minute. Buy high, sell low. initial pullback, and now the bulls are trying to hold.
Short RQ, full port.
Yeah, lots of layers here. I agree. Lots of trading over each other. I'm sort of hoping we get a little more directional support after the press conference really gets underway. I think this might be Jay Powell's last press conference for the year. The next FOMC is not until 2026.
Yep. Isn't this the last one with JPOW?
Dang, that could be. The next one after today is January 28th.
Yeah, I think the end of the year that's it for him.
Yeah. Whoa.
Might have Hassett there.
Goodness.
Okay, let's go. Let's giddy up and go. Come on, send it.
Here we go. She's pushing again.
Let's get that blow off top here. You might be right, Nikki. You might be right. Let's go. Take us to highs. Oh, wow. Come on, let's go.
The high of day from yesterday popped above it, but there's a little resistance here. Seems legit.
Well, can we get above that 25,745?
Close. Gold popped strong as well.
Silver didn't move much,
Mm-mm.
but let's take a look at gold. Okay, yeah, gold is kind of catching
Yeah.
a bid.
Right?
I see that.
Responding with the rest.
Sounds like the Fed, basically saying more of the same as they've been. There's still employment fears and risk are still elevated. So,
Yeah, there's still definitely uncertainty amongst the economy. Like, that's not surprising.
come on, do it, NQ. There it goes.
Yep. Bulls are strong.
Come on. Keep pushing it.
There's some resistance here.
Mm-hmm.
Die at the zone, yeah. It's a potential pivot area. Massive imbalance at 735. Bears throwing some weight around here.
Mm-hmm. Trying to drag it down.
Mm-hmm. Come back down for another refuel.
Maybe.
Or resistance can hold. Hundred. That's below the low of day today. Oh, I want to give it up yet.
Massive imbalance appeared at 735.
Popped up there.
Because they're saying that we're only going to have one rate cut next year.
Mm. Yeah, it's hard to say right here, Nikki. Bulls owned the early momentum, but as more information comes out, we'll see what the sentiment turns out as.
You got Papa Powell coming up here in just a little bit.
Mhm.
And there she goes again.
Here we
Make
go.
that next leg up.
Mm-hmm. Go, go.
It's trying. That's right,
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
Some good energy. Push it around. Yes. Come on, take out the eye again. You could do it. Yeah, the breakdowns are starting to come out.
Trying to.
Right. Resistance is fighting back.
I don't think Papa Pal's gonna have anything good to say.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to smooth it over or change much. Price kind of dancing up here.
Yeah, great job, Affluent.
Nice. Solid work. See if she wants to pull back down a little more.
Fighting it, trying to hold it up. The cell just hasn't really kicked in enough.
Mm-mm. I might try here ahead of his speech. Here's some bears. Definitely some contracts making some action today.
Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't even that big of a push to the upside either. You know that?
Really wasn't that impressive.
I mean, 100-point move
And
to the upside.
not so outsized. I haven't seen a ton of volatility yet, really.
Mm-mm.
See if we can get a
There it
nice
is.
pullback, and then maybe it wants to hold when he starts talking.
I want to see if they'll flush us down into the morning lows. It's starting to look aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Flush into the
Yes.
abyss.
We're hoping for it. Just want some volatility.
Mhm.
Who's shorting this move right now? I actually I had a long, I cut the long at that significant, just a few minutes ago, like 10 minutes ago or so. So I'm short right now. Shorted 720, right on.
I'm short as well.
And my puts are in the
I
money
short.
right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go. I shorted 67 on ES. Closed at 60. Now I'm waiting to see him.
There she goes. Come on. Get through the 200. Do it.
Yeah, gold is having a retracement right now after their big push up.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, some days I wish I had even more screens. I have 3, but so many different moving parts on these days. Yeah, I covered my short at 60 North Pole. But she's definitely dropping here. Generational debt. That's right. Come on, she's got more to go.
Could go more. Not done yet.
Mhm. I wonder what she'll do when she gets down to the start of this move. The buyers will defend.
There it goes.
Mhm. Woo.
J Powell is mad. He's angry. J Powell's like, oh, I'm gonna take your money. Oh, that's a heck of a sell. Buyer's not yet trapped. There's that pullback.
Here we go.
Oh, J Powell's taking the stage.
Mhm. See what he can make happen.
So inflation is elevated and job market is cooling.
Nice work. Stop loss at break even. I'm long.
Good luck. I like
Let's
it.
go. Yeah. I like that support where it held, and I don't think I got in as good as Affluent did, but whoop, whoop. See if she can break the high here.
Let me see if I can bring J-Pow in.
Yeah.
At least an audio.
Core PCE prices also rose 2.8%.
If you're watching the stream, you should be able to hear him. You probably won't be able to hear him here in Discord, though.
Reflecting the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation.
Well, they probably don't want that on stream.
Thanks, man.
Well, we are ripping to the upside now.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just pushing.
Blasting off.
Some momentum.
Respect my authority. Calls just exploded. Yeah, that's volatile. Look at that. Wow.
Be here now. Let's go. Drop it like it's hot. Massive pivot there.
Mm-hmm.
What is she going to do? The bear's making an attempt here. Nine-second holds.
Oh, okay.
Woo. Bears are trying. Some energy
Yeah, bears are
sneaking in.
here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely not
J-Pow's
normal.
taking questions right now.
Come at him now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a big move.
Throw.
Come on. Testing the 200 now.
Let's go. I'm riding these shorts. Go. That's right. Elevator time.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. Drop it, baby.
Yeah, anyway. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Magic carpet. Yep. Go, go.
Well, it's a serious trade right there, Fluent. Congrats.
Yeah. I don't think these bears are done yet.
Mm-mm. I don't think so either. This is my yes
Mm-mm.
chart. Why am I on this? Here. Well, can we get that pushed down though?
We need to break these lows, and then I think it could sink more. We'll see, though. There's support
Just in
underneath
the
this on larger time
Mhm.
frames. And she's not. She's slowed, the downward momentum has slowed. I just got one runner and stop and break in profit. So oh, that was good. I got some longs, I got some shorts. Oh, there I was taking out on my runner.
Yeah,
Solid.
same here.
Yeah. She's bouncy. She's real bouncy for the day.
Yeah. Still ain't done, I
Yeah, right?
guess.
Yeah. All right, here's some bulls. Here's some bulls. Yep. Vicky went out too. Same. Now Scrub wants a bulls, so let's do it. Good for Scrubs. Was a good turn there. 1 minute. Bounce off a VWAP, which all this FOMC trading has happened above VWAP, which is a bullish sign. I'm not sure exactly. Man, ups and downs. Slav. I'm with you on that. She's really hitting both sides. I might call it enough for today.
Yeah, I think I got one more trade, but I want to wait till the end of the day.
Yeah. Give it some time here to mess around a little bit. There you go, Nikki. These are my main accounts. Feel good about it. Ones I want to trade today.
Solid.
Yeah. Little longs, little shorts. Shut it down. This is a different one that I trade, and the bottom one is the funded one, and the other ones are new evals I just got for today. I don't trade a ton of live accounts on FOMC, but I'm getting more into it. Good opportunity. Yeah, the Bears were strong not long ago, so I'm very curious to see if they'll defend that here because they had that big bearish sell, 10 minutes ago? And there's that resistance here, so. But honestly, all this trading has been in the upper half of today, so makes me hesitant on holding the Bears too.
It looks like it wants to go.
Yeah, I think the Bulls are going to try and own it here.
There it is. Come on. There's a push.
I think BluSky's going to come on tonight too. Sometimes they
Yeah,
have that Asian session on, right?
yes, that's correct. He should be on 5 days a week here. So, every day this week through the after hour session, you can catch him here in our Discord.
There you go. A hangout place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he gets on just the main stage. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're pushing up.
Yeah, it's going for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this bullish momentum. Let's go. Yes, is approaching a psychological level 6,900. Right? Get there. Cash App, Venmo, or personal check. Also money order. Why not? Always a strong tactic to just flip your chart. Sometimes it's the day for it. Okay, gold is bouncing too. They pulled back as well, and the bulls are holding the gold chart as well right now. Push, push. Nikki, nice hanging out. Have a good rest of your day. Strong work, man. A little sporty. I like that. Oh, we're going for 900. It's up there a bit, but the bulls are pushing. Come on, you're so close. Bagged it. Oh, 1 point shy.
Now let's see if we hold the line, Aaron. I'm watching it.
No, there was a reaction there at 6,900 on ES.
All right, LaFleur, we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice hanging with you. Strong work. You got some killer traders here, Blue Sky, man.
Yeah, we do. We've got some definitely profitable traders.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. Let's see. Bulls are going again.
The current rate of inflation, a lot of that is
All right. Shake it up, Betty. Gold just broke a high.
Did it?
Yeah.
Looks like
Keep
Nasdaq is
going.
also moving too.
Yeah, ES did as well. Beautiful.
What's up, Riz and Becky? Happy Fed Day.
Hey-o. Happy Fed
Well,
Day.
Happy
What's
Fed
up, Chris
Day
Mack?
is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
At a very important level on the ES currently, 6,900.
That's right. I just closed my long at.
Market wants to break out. I've been listening to Powell's press conference. My initial take on the policy statement, everybody was focused on some of the hawkish language, but I felt in totality he was slightly more dovish on the policy statement than the market was expecting, especially with the moving of don't call it QE, but it's really QE to December. That was anticipated to start in January, but on December 12th they're going to be pumping in $40 billion a month. And I promise you that's not going to stop as we get into mid next year. Last time they started doing that, 6 months later, they were pumping $1 trillion into the market every single month. So that I felt was far more dovish than what we were expecting. He tried to walk back a little bit, but in general, the press conference has also been equally as dovish, painting the labor market as positive going into next year, GDP expanding going into next year. SCP showed expansion in the GDP, inflation while maintaining some degree of stabilization next year. The vast majority of the inflation is coming from the tariff side of the equation, and so they don't have an aggressive opinion on inflation, given the fact that most of it is being produced by the tariffs. And so that was a little bit interesting here. And then he said there's a live conversation for January, even though the dot plot suggests we're only going to get one cut next year. I felt in totality, it's been a pretty dovish day from a policy statement, in my estimation. I think the market's got it right now, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it navigates these upper levels.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. I think I was also watching that 6,900 level on ES, and that was a beautiful tag that she did. Now we'll see. I mean, we haven't really broken consolidation yet on the larger time frames today. So
No, that 6,900 level is kind of that ultimate level.
yeah.
And from, a investor perspective, a swing trader perspective, a position trader perspective, a day trading perspective, I have a lot of interest at this level. But specifically on the day trading side of the equation, this is where I would expect to see some patterns start to develop. High bases, flag based patterns, on the very short time frames, obviously, 5 minute chart type thing. But yeah, I'm keenly interested in pattern development at this level.
Hmm. Beautiful.
I think the overnight session is going to be fun tonight, by the way.
I know. I think that I was saying too, or that I think the continuation of these federal and fundamental events can be so interesting in the after hours because it could be a good shove in the right direction, and we can see some nice follow through.
It's it's a pricing event. And so the market's, obviously feeling a little bit better about the path of policy. And even though we have a few central banks coming up next week on the international side, they're all going to take a little bit of a cue from, what's going on in the US here today. And so I do think it's going to be very interesting to see how those other systems around the world, starting with really kind of Japan and the Asia Open tonight, but I think London's going to be very sensitive on price tonight as well.
Nice.
What's your guys' take on the Fed so far for the team? More dovish than expected? About as expected? Who cares? All I care about is price action. All three are perfectly fine.
I'm a mix of both. I'm a price action trader predominantly, but I think the fundamentals were not surprising to me. I think we kind of had an estimation on how it was going to play out, and it didn't seem like anything was too startling from that. So then I think we talked yesterday too, was about how we were interested at the support level in terms of the bull flag pattern on the daily. And so I liked the bulls for today, and I really enjoy how it played out. I liked how it pivoted off of VWAP twice today after the news started hitting. I really like those entries. So, yeah, I think we anticipated this relatively well.
Yeah, I think dovish is, or doobish. Jaja, is this JPal's last presser? I think with the third consecutive cut, the moving up of QE, and a presser that sounded like he was a little bit bullish, buys him another press conference. Although the Supreme Court is literally hearing a case this week that would extend his authority to fire individual members of individual agencies that are congressionally authorized. And so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I doubt they'll apply that to the Fed, perfectly honestly. I think they'll make the Fed I think they'll allow the president to fire anybody he wants on the FTC, but I don't think he's going to allow him to do it on the Fed. I think they'll make a certain decision for the Fed. But so I think Powell finishes out his term, which would give him 3 or 4 more press conferences.
Okay, good information. I didn't know on that. I didn't know the answer on that one.
Oh, I track those things like a hawk.
Yeah, it's important information. We all should really be paying good attention to it.
Well, I you might not know this about me, Becky, but I'm actually I watch every Supreme Court case, like every single one. Like
We've got a law background as well, so I think you have probably a little bit quicker understanding for it because sometimes the language there, I have to really pay acute attention.
Not only do I have a law background, but it wasn't in contract law. It was in constitutional law. So that's where I just have natural interest there is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I watch them all.
Nice. Well, I'm happy to be on your team because I love when you give us this information.
Well, don't get me started on my real opinion on what the Supreme Court is doing.
That conversation could go for days.
That's the market commentary. I have other opinions on the Supreme Court.
Fair.
I didn't get movie night last night there, Blas. Yep, Jaja. Yeah, podcast conversation. That's always code, right? That's always code.
Oh, Nacho asked.
In a nutshell, I think they're circumventing some of the checks and balances that our founders truly believed in. I'll save it for that.
Yeah, that's a reasonable nutshell.
ES. doesn't want to slow here.
No, she's holding up.
By the way, ETH looking pretty good. Gold's been choppy, but I'm telling you, like the one thing that stands out to me today, and it is by far the number one thing that stands out to me, in the initial response of the market and everybody talking about what the Fed just did, everybody was like in a debate mode. Is this hawkish? Is this dovish? I thought that was nonsensical. Moving up QE is absolutely dovish, regardless of whatever they say about the future. What they say about the future is one thing. What they're doing right now is a very vastly different thing. And moving QE up is a pretty dovish sentiment there. And the dollar is getting smoked here, like getting absolutely trounced right now. The purple tie usually means he's going to try to paint some type of equilibrium RQ, meaning he's going to try to straddle the fence. And even though he has tried to do that a little bit, the message is pretty clear. Powell bought the ES, so we got the message. But no, the purple tie is one of I am sitting on the fence, which he has been wearing for years, by the way.
Maybe he just likes that color. Make us talk.
Well, in a world of the Fed and politics, wearing purple is the sign of neutrality.
Mm-hmm. Which is good. We should all aim for more neutrality.
And dollar's getting smoked.
Oof.
Gold's starting to pump.
Yeah, she broke out nice after that retracement there. Silver did too. It was a little slower on the breakout, but it followed
Yeah,
here.
silver was a little hesitant
Mm-hmm.
in the immediacy. In fact, I was a little concerned with silver and gold in the immediacy of the release of the statement, and once Powell started getting into the presser, both of them were kind of showing a little bit of intraday weakness, and silver's just pounded the table over the course of the last 20 minutes. Just, Amaro, even crude oil has recovered a little bit here today. Crude oil's up at the high point of today, obviously pumping a little bit similar to the rest of the equity and commodity space here. I do think you're seeing a pricing event, but the one thing about crude oil, and I have a really hard time believing crude oil can carry anything outside of intraday analysis. Like anytime that daily chart's gotten any pump to it at all, like 1, 2, 3 days, boom, gets smacked down, and not a small smack, not like a little baby slap here. We're talking about slap fest type stuff. And now you're at a level that, on the daily chart, right around that 59 level, the 9 EMA's there, the 20 SMA's there. So it's got some overhead that is what I would describe as significant, and the edges on the daily chart aren't there. I will say on the intraday chart, where you're seeing a little bit of the pump, you're coming up into a level right around 59.13 that was one of those levels that was a Smackdown level just yesterday. And so I don't really have a strong opinion on crude oil being able to carry anything. But intraday, there is that level right around 59. And then on the daily chart, it's at 59. On the intraday chart, there's that pivot point at 59.13 that kind of is working as a little bit of resistance here today. If I don't know if you're going to get 40 there, brother. I'll tell you, if crude oil gets to 40, I'll start building a long-term position too, my friend. But I don't know, for like crude feels pretty sticky in the mid 50s. If you break the mid 50s and there's a pivot point right around 55, that is significant on crude oil, like very, very significant on crude oil. So the weekly levels are 55, 50. You work down into really kind of 42, 43. At 40, you're kind of underneath some of those levels. That would be a little concerning. So, it's Whether it gets there or not, I don't know. I would say I'd be a little surprised, especially if the GDP projections that Powell had in the SEP today were accurate. Their projections went from 1.7 to 2.3% for 26. And so if GDP is going to go up, I have a hard time seeing that massive downtrend in crude oil because it's very economically sensitive, very economically sensitive. And I'm just not hearing any concern economically out of Powell today. In fact, he was asked one question regarding how is it that you have GDP expanding into 2.3%, a 0.6 bump, while you have inflation basically flatline next year? And he went into a detailed response where he was talking about, well, most of the inflationary pressure is in goods, which is all tariff induced. And so if you take that away, inflation actually comes down to about 2.5, 2.3% next year. Without that, you're staring at about 2.8 to 3% on the inflationary side of the equation. But GDP goes from 1.7 to 2.3%, which if you have a 0.6% expansion in GDP, you usually have a little bit of a bump up on the non-goods from an inflationary perspective. So that stood out to people like me. And there was that question on it, and the way and basically the question was, is this AI? Is this AI that you have in your projections regarding economic growth, but stabilization on the inflationary side of it? And he answered in a pretty extremely dovish way. And so I just kind of felt like it's going to, on those economically sensitive, specifically commodities like crude oil, unless you see a massive pump out of OPEC in a deal with the Trump administration, I just don't know if you're going to get there personally. And I don't know if I'd be building energy more than I don't know if I'd be building crude more than I'd be building energy. There's a few stocks in energy that I have some longer term opinions on. No, not smart, just well read. You're making me blush there, Blas.
Hey, we appreciate intelligence and experience. Very valuable. The market is humbling, right, Aaron? The whole world of finance and fundamentals in the stock market and all the factors that play around it is, I feel it is very humbling, to be honest. Like I'm enjoying learning from so many more around me that just have such wisdom and experience.
We're all a collection of the people we surround ourselves with.
Oh, I so believe that. Hang out with people who are in the direction that you are going, that you want to go, and help them, raise each other up and learn from them. It's powerful.
Well, if you're talking end of the year party, meaning market party for Santa Claus, I am hoping this candle scares the dickens out of those bears. But the one thing that just holds me back a little bit more cautious from calling that out a little bit more aggressively is I do want to see the overnight action here.
Yeah, nice to see the follow through on this. I'm with you on that.
Well, Pal now is officially done with the presser. And now we all get a moment of time to take a breath and focus on the. Yeah, what happens now is really interesting. Actually, this is when you start getting into the secondary analysis. All the talking heads start going out there, and all of a sudden, the market oftentimes will start forming a collective opinion here. And it's like one person writes something on Twitter, the next like, "Ooh, that's a good idea," type thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how the talking heads take this, because I took it as I would consider slightly more dovish than expected, and obviously I think the market is saying that here as well. I'm going to be on mute for just a second while I listen to a couple of this on CNBC. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's definitely reaction here happening as we momentum slow to the upside. We hit that psychological level. We poked above it a little bit. But when the candles get smaller like that and they get closer together, it always puts me on edge for potential counter reaction, which seems like what we're having for the moment here anyway. Gold and silver are having the same, and we only have 35 minutes left here, so we'll see if she's got any more last push on her or if she's going to settle in a little bit. Just because it's FOMC day doesn't mean necessarily the day has to close in a giant engulfing candle. Could also have a wick on it, which would mean some bears and some mess around at the last half hour here. So we'll see. It's less interesting to me price action wise now.
I don't need him to listen to much of that. It's what I thought. Jeffrey Gunlock is talking about how it's more dovish than what he anticipated as well. He's talking about how Powell emphasized a little bit of the weakness of the labor and de-emphasized the inflationary risk. I would agree with that. He felt like Powell stated that every one of the labor market reports, which I didn't catch live, this is fascinating to me, is about 60,000 overrepresented right now. So if the government is reporting 40K job gains, how Powell really sees that as a negative 20,000 job loss. That is absolutely fascinating, listening to the head of the central bank literally call out the United States government due to the inaccuracy of economic data right now. Yeah, he sounded, at least Gunlock, from a bond perspective, sounded pretty dovish there as well.
Sounds like what you said.
Yeah, that's been my opinion for about 6 weeks, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Someone should give you a mic. Yeah, exactly.
I speak Fed. Let's just say that tomorrow.
We're going to keep you in our party.
It's like a unique language. Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey.
What's up, Mike? How you doing today?
I'm still trying to recover from surgery, but I'm good.
Surgery went well, though?
Yeah, I'm just having a lot of pressure and stuff like that for my sinuses and my neck and all that. So it's not my voice. It's not really great, but I'm getting there, you know?
Well, it's always good to have you, my friend. Did you get caught up on all things Fed today?
Yeah, just kind of, I had so much going on, I didn't have time to look at it, but I knew the Dow was the baby today. So if you look at the Dow today, man, 580 points since the run, it's been beautiful.
It's been a smoke show the last hour. Well, about
Yeah.
last 45 minutes too. Just up, 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 up.
Yeah.
If the Fed's going to be more dovish than expected, those cyclical areas get a big bid.
Yeah, like I told everybody, I expected him to pull this little thing, and we'd probably see a big run up, which is cool. But now we got to see what's going to happen with them starting to buy the treasuries come the 12th.
Yeah,
They'll start buying
QE
treasury
and
bonds.
12. I mean,
You see
don't
the
call
VIX,
it QE, but yeah, QE.
yeah, the VIX tanked. So,
Yeah, VIX down to the low point over the last couple months right now.
yeah. The S&P's kind of holding out at 55, but oh, hang on a minute. I have to take this phone call. I'll be right back, okay?
Oh, you're good. You're good, Mike.
Yep.
Speaking of the cyclicals, we're all talking about whether or not the NASDAQ and the ES is going to break out. Mike brings up a wonderful point on the Dow. RSP, which is the equal weighted index for the S&P 500, that thing is above that 192.5 level right now. It's currently at 193.37. That's breakout type levels right now. If that thing sticks by the end of this week, that is a wonderful technical signal, not just for the indexes, but for, like, if you think about sectors, for example. The RSP ES doesn't represent all sectors. It represents the aggressive sectors far more than anything. That's why it's often considered NASDAQ light, because it's very sensitive to the tech space. Whereas RSP, the equal weighted index of the SPY, that gives the same credence to all the different sectors out there. And you're above that 192.5 level right now. That is a level that has stopped any charts for months on the cyclical side of the equation. And so that is a very interesting backdrop. Yeah, still dancing 69 here.
A lot of indecision at this point here. A lot of profit taking, I think, on the run up.
Well, I think the easy part got done. Now the hard part.
Right. Now it gets tight because the big push was a nice grab, nice run. You could trail your stop easily. Yeah.
I'm definitely hunting the ES tonight. And honestly, I would love for the ES to not break out during the session here. Just specifically from a day trading perspective, if the ES breaks 69 and runs, I'm going to be very happy. I was position bullish going into today. But 6,900 is that level I have a massive opinion on. And so I would love a little bit of consolidation here, honestly. You've had a big time move today. Markets are up, about 1% here. And it's been just in the last hour or so. You're slightly overextended. Well, I don't want to slightly. You're overextended on the shorter time frames, 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute. You got some extension at that point. I would love to see a little bit of this get dialed in right around the 6,900 level. And so I definitely am looking at the ES tonight around that 6,900 level. The current tippity top of this candle is the 6,906 level. So that's going to be the zone. I'm interested in a breakout, or I'm interested in a pullback and after a little bit of profit taking pullback type thing. On gold is a little bit different because it doesn't have that one level that is vitally important to it. That would be the 4290 level. But you do got a bunch of chop around 4270, and I would personally love a pullback to 4250 here. A pullback to 4250, there's a lot of demand around the 60 to 4250 level. So a pullback down to those two levels, probably more around the 4250 level, I would be very interested in as well. So if gold wants to clean up breakout analysis, that's fine. It would have to clean it up for me, but I do like a pullback analysis here on gold as well. And so I'm looking at ES would be much easier for the breakout analysis than gold would, in my opinion. So I would prefer a pullback on gold. I'm open to anything on the ES, but I do think it's going to be more of a breakout situation. And we absolutely could run here. Like,
I made it back.
Good to see you again, Mike.
Yeah, that was my doctor calling me. He's like, "Yeah, I don't recommend you being in the cold weather because I was going to go up and see my mom for Christmas." And he's like, "That's fine if you run up there and run back, but I don't want you staying a long period of time." He said, "I don't need you catching a sinus infection with your sinus surgery." So yeah, that wouldn't work
that
out.
would be bad, especially as someone who's had a couple colds in the last month, Mike.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nasty this year. It's
Well,
nasty.
y'all know I had that big lump taken out of my neck, and
Yeah.
that was terrible. Yeah, but I'm kind of numb from my chin to my chin down to my shoulders is completely numb still from all the nerves. So I'm just kind of making it through.
Yeah, when they monkey around those sinuses, there's so much that is right there that the pressure can push against. Takes away from all that inflammation. Oh,
Yeah, and I've already got enough pressure as it is. He's like, "You want to come in a little earlier?" He's like, "It's going to hurt when we do what I got to do, but you can come in." I'm like, "No, I'll wait to my appointment in January. Thank you." I don't because he tried that shit with me like 2 weeks ago. Oh my god! Like, come off that table. I'm like, "Dude, you got to quit." They take this big thing and try to get the stuff out of there. I'm like, "No, no, no. I'll stay. I'll just be cool." It looks like the Nasdaq's trying to run a little bit again, huh?
Yeah, they're all
The Dow
there it
632,
is.
man.
I'm telling you, it's been 2 of the last 3 weeks. I feel like I've gotten 3 different colds, and I'm catching them from everybody.
Yeah. But I can't wait
no.
to get healed back up though, because I'm going to start doing I told the guys I was going to come in the room from 9 to 11 in the mornings, man, and let Riz come in after me or whatever. But if he wants to or whatever, we can do it together, even if he wants to, and make it
Yeah.
fun. But it'll be a blast coming back on for a little while, and getting things back in order, like just kind of get me back in the loop again because I love trading.
Well, we do miss you, but we
yeah.
also understand that you've been going through it with the voice there. And as somebody
Oh,
who
yeah.
talks a lot, Mike, it's better to have that voice get fixed completely, and so you don't have to deal with those issues, brother. But we'll love to have you back as well.
Yeah, we're gonna have a just a really good time in the room and try to get everybody back on course and back with me and back with Riz and let's do stuff
Love it.
together and you guys come in and do stuff with us too. And I think it's gonna be really good for the first of the year. I think we'll get Christmas and all that out of the way and New Year out of the way. Then once that's done, I get this appointment set up and get it done. We'll get back in there, man, and just kind of go back and do what we were doing with the levels and all that and me and Riz can work on some stuff together during the day. I think it'll be fun.
It'll be way fun.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I get really like I miss it a lot because I'm so used to doing it. Like, damn, I got all these levels I know and I can't do shit with them.
Yeah.
I can't talk for more than an hour and I lose my damn voice. So,
You missed it if you're seeing levels in your dreams, brother.
oh yeah, if I'm calling trades in my dreams all the time, my wife's like, "Yeah, you went long last night." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's kind of cool."
By the way, NASDAQ quietly at one of those levels that is very, very interesting. Very similar to the ES, that resistance level right around the 870 level.
Yeah, it's cool though. I'm glad to see it running finally. I just wonder if we're going to get the Christmas rally now, or if they're going to just kind of play games with us until the Santa rally. Or are we going to have a Santa rally?
Mike, honestly, that's kind of top of mind right now. Is this the spark? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is this the spark that unites the bulls and scares the dickens out of the bears to get a nice little leg up going into the Christmas rally?
Exactly what I'm thinking.
It's on the top of my head as well, and with the cyclicals really kind of leading the charge here today, I kind of feel that there's an edge there. They got to stick the landing though. Stick this landing. Like that's why I feel like the overnight session is pretty important here tonight. You got to stick the landing, but it does feel like the Bulls want to party a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally agree.
And the timing is right with early to mid December. It's a good launching point.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
I think they really could start something really good here with these Bulls, as long as they can hold. As long as they can figure out, hey, look, we can hold a level, because whatever the highest level is that they come off of today is going to be important for tonight for sure.
Absolutely.
They can't get back under that level, because if they get back under that, you can see too on the chart where if you go, I'm kind of looking at Bloomberg's chart right now on TV, but you can see back there, if you pull back and look, there's like a big flat line across there. You mark that big flat line top and bottom, you're going to know exactly where it's going to come back to on the NASDAQ. It's craziness. But I recommend, guys, if you're following along with Coach Matt and Coach Becky, I recommend going over to your 4 hour and marking it down, checking it out, see what your 4 hour is doing, because you're going to know by looking at where it broke out from the 4 hour, where the bottom of the 4 hour mark was in the top, and go from there. Mark those on your charts.
Yeah, the high likely retest zone for
A 4 hour
break above it
candle
and
is
come back.
actually quite impressive.
Yeah, because you're going to get those test zones will show you on that 4 hour, man. I love it.
And 4 hours is a good time frame. You know, breaks the daily in half, and it can give you a nice in between level to watch.
Yeah, you know, I trade off the 4 hour, Becky.
Nice. Sick.
I do. I tell
Yeah.
you know what's funny. If I would have went long, I look back at my charts. Of course, I got some institutional stuff I'm going to show you guys too. But I went back and pulled my charts one day. I was so bored, and I was feeling really bad. I thought, God, I got to figure out something to get me occupied. So I said, you know what? Let's look at a chart. So I went back and looked at my charts, and 18,000 something was the long. I could have went long on my institutional stuff at 18,000. Still been long today. You know, it's craziness the way things play out on those charts. When we think there's a big, massive pullbacks coming, these guys are still holding longs. You know, they've been holding longs
Right.
for thousands of points. But, you know, we can't do it because, you know, it's not feasible unless you're holding millions of dollars in those, like those $1 million guys do. But it is nice to see that we are right, that we are in the trend that we're in. And even though we think there's a bear run in there, there's a bearish move inside of there, but the bearish moves have not been playing out like they thought they were going to. And the bulls want to hold.
Especially
I
in
think
the last week and a half, Mike.
exactly. I think these bulls want to kill this, like you're saying, Coach Matt. I think they want to get a place where they can hold at. They got to have a couple hold levels. As long as they hold above them, they're fine. And if they get under, they're probably get back to that 4 hour low level and say no. You know, either that or the daily. They might even look at daily. Sometimes you use the daily versus the 4 hour, but either one of those two charts, if you mark it, you're going to know where that short is in case they take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, the reason I feel like it's so important for them to stick this one is because it will show confidence on carrying through a longer time frame than just a shorter time frame for the bulls. That will stand out to me, I believe. But you made a point that stood out to me for the last 7-8 trading sessions. There's been multiple moments where the bears got a spark of volatility, tried to push it, but couldn't push it over 1 or 2 candles, couldn't push it outside of that volatility moment. Never sparked a trend on almost any time frame. Would just come right back down to support, and the bulls would gobble it up. That's been going on for a week and a half now. And that tells me that the bulls are anxious here. And now they're getting a little bit of a catalyst. If they can carry it, that shows confidence moving into the future. Overnight to get support. I think these are very important technical levels to
Now, my
track.
question is, though, to you, Coach, my good question is this. So we know if Powell said, because I've seen part of his speech, if he said in his speech, he kind of implemented, look, Treasury purchase will remain elevated for the next few months. Is he trying to give us a hint to say, look, if Treasury bonds, if we know the 10-year bond goes up, the NASDAQ's going to come down, right?
Yes.
Because usually if you got bonds flying, your
Especially
other markets come down.
Yes, especially where the bond levels are right now. And so,
so if we keep buying bonds to label out the markets, is that going to, if we purchase a bunch of bonds, now we purchase them in small little amounts. If they go out and buy a bunch of bonds next week, does that mean we're going to see the bears come step in and kill people? Maybe.
I wouldn't think so, because usually historically, when the Fed becomes the buyer of last resort in the bond market, which means they're supporting prices. They're trying to stabilize the environment is what they're doing. And it's their way of artificially lowering interest rates, because the Fed fund rate is only one data point into what the actual interest rate is, right? The bond market is what really determines that. And so quantitative easing is their way of adjusting the interest rate without actually, moving the actual Fed fund rate.
Right.
And so
So my
what
next
happens,
question is, my
it
next
usually
question to
becomes a
you though.
bullish catalyst because it forces people outside of the bond market because you're going to get paid less on the bond, and it will force them back into a riskier asset on the equity side. Usually
Right.
that's the path.
So my next question is, okay, so this may be what Powell is saying is, guys, watch yourselves on your bull run because we're going to start buying bonds on the 12th that might bring in a little bit of come down, in the market. The Nasdaq might fall a little bit, but is that going to be the key to the Santa rally? Are we going to buy bonds, bring it down, and let it run? Could that be
I
a spark that they're looking for?
I see the Fed ultimately, if they are buying bonds, which they are, they announced that today they're going to start 40 billion purchases on
Yep.
December 12th. They're going to maintain that monthly going into next year. They didn't put a target date on it, which usually means open-ended. The last time they did an open-ended QE was in 2013. And in 2013, that was one of the best bullish runs I've ever seen in the market. It was up 31% that year, and the market didn't even entertain a corrective retracement. Legitimately, it was up high base, up high base, up high base, because when the Fed buys bonds, it forces bond traders, which is by far the biggest market out there, into the equity market. And it forces them to become buyers in the equity market because they can't get their gains necessarily in the bond market. And so it's their way of lowering the interest rates, number one, artificially. And number two, that forces buyers to come back into the stock market. It usually clears up the path. And so for me, I don't know what the technical path will be. What I do believe is that if this does stick, it is a catalyst event, and I would assume that does mean Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
What about you, Becky? What do you think on it? Just stepped away for a minute.
Yeah, she
Oh,
must have.
sorry about that. I thought it was I've been muting to cough today. Yeah, I've been liking the run up in this last week here, and then I honestly was really waiting to see what today would do and if we could break the top off of this consolidation for the last week and a half, because it was a nice push up for a solid week, and then I felt like we went sideways. So if we could break this bull flag up, I think we'll take out the highs and then push up, which does make me feel stronger that a Santa rally would close out the year, just because the timing of everything and the fact that we had a strong intent and then a rest period and then a break today with this catalyst. I just really like the timing of it all for the bulls as well. So that's my read as well.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement on it then. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's going to be I think it's going to be a wild little week here before Christmas. This could get crazy.
Especially the next 6 trading sessions. There's other central banks that are going to respond to what the U.S. said today. Especially, I'm keenly looking at the Bank of Japan next week. I think the market will be pretty sensitive around the Bank of Japan, because they're most likely going to raise interest rates in the face of the U.S. lowering interest rates and launching they're not calling it QE. They refuse to call it QE. They're calling it basically margin maintenance is what they're calling it. I find that so funny.
Speaking of margins, all the brokers are going to go up on their margins every January. They always do. It's coming.
But yeah, I do think we're going to see some sensitive pricing the next little bit, and I do think we could see another run if the Bank of Japan raises rates, but yet it doesn't spark an unwinding of the Japanese carry trade, because the Japanese aren't going to continually raise rates. They'll raise rates one time and then they'll be done. And if it doesn't spark an unwind there, I think a pump's happening in the markets.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if you guys have been noticing too, but I think we've been having some steep retracements. Like you said, the longer term energy has been bullish recently, but certain intradays we're having some bigger swings that you can capitalize on as a day trader too. So I think it's been interesting to see the intraday opportunities and then compared to like the investor and the holding potential. I think those are two different kind of setups that we're able to capitalize on in this period right now too, which is kind of great.
Day traders
It
love
is.
movement, and I do think you're going to expect movement over the next week and a half.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to jump off of here because I got to go take my crazy meds.
Well, Mike, you are the best, and thank you so much for hanging out. And I'm glad you're getting on the mend, and looking forward to doing more streams with you, brother.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to try to, I might hop in every now and then between now and the first of the year, but I'm just going to try to make it, 15, 20 minutes at a time or whatever, because it's crazy shit. But I'll get over it and I'll get better and we'll move forward like we always do. You know what I mean?
Number one thing is to get healthy, my friend. Number one.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But I do appreciate you guys being in here, and you too, Riz, and all the guys and girls in here with you. I do appreciate every one of you guys. So we'll see you guys later, and y'all have a beautiful day.
You too, Mike.
Yeah, thanks,
All
Mike.
right,
It's a
bye.
great team. Heal up.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Later, Mike. Yeah, Blas, ain't no one want that debt from the U.S. No, that is usually when the U.S. becomes the buyer of last resort. I think that's a great question, Anon, because, yeah, like, I don't. The 2013 cycle is the last time they did something along this line, but this isn't exactly a zero interest rate environment where we're dealing with global synchronized growth, and the U.S. was the only one providing that growth narrative to the entire world. You know what I mean? And so there is some competition out there. And when I think about some of those other nations out there that you could see money flowing to, you think about Japan. They're going to be raising rates. I don't know if that's going to give a lot of people confidence in Japan in the shortest time frame. You look at China, that's a very difficult one to assess right now. And then you specifically look at the Eurozone, and the Europeans are basically U.S. light when it comes to central bank policy. They've got done with 4 cuts of their own. They went into a pause. We got done with 3 cuts of our own. We're going into a slight pause. So I get the debate, but if you asked me, which one would you rather invest in? I'll tell you right now, I'd rather take the U.S. over the rest right now, personally. But I do understand the debate, especially with the tariffs, because Powell did, without blaming the political environment, Powell kind of blamed the political environment on that.
I mean, it makes sense a little bit.
Yeah. In
There's some
2013,
factors there.
it was absolutely obvious in 2013. Japan, it was literally doing their own version of quantitative easing, buying their own bonds, taking the matured interest from the bonds and parking it into U.S. equities. That's what Japan was doing for a decade straight. That's what Europe would do. It wasn't just us in the U.S. It was everywhere. It was the global synchronized growth trade. It happened for 10 straight years. The U.S. was absolutely the obvious choice back then. I don't think it's the obvious choice right now. I do think it's a debate. And I was going to quote Warren Buffett, always bet on the U.S., but then again, Warren Buffett's buying Japanese indexes right now. So maybe don't quote Buffett today.
He's diversifying as well, a little bit. Yeah. Can't blame him.
Point is, there's other choices.
That's a good point. It was nice to hear Mike pop in today.
It was good to hear Mike's voice.
Coming along healing.
Market hit 69, and it's been just hanging out up there ever since.
I know. Paper cutting around. Ugh. That's the thing where you have to be able to stop your roll. Like on FOMC days, I don't know about everyone else, but like there's an adrenaline factor to that. When you start trading the higher volatility and there's a little extra hype and the points accumulate a little faster, shutting it down once you've achieved your target is sometimes like you got to pay attention to that, Yeah. Happened today. Lock it down. You get that nice target on ES we were hunting. Locked it in. Call it. Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
No, it was not. And neither is a trend.
That's right. I agree about the after hours. It's going to be an interesting one today. I'm excited to be watching it. I have a busy evening, but I'm definitely going to be watching my alerts.
That's kind of me too. I got a little busy evening here today, but it will be on the other screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
100%, right?
yeah, I think, like I was saying when me and Blas were talking before Mike came in, I would love to see kind of stabilization here. Just hold firm, hold the landing, don't give up too much, clean up that 69, and then give us a beautiful breakout going into the Asian session. I think that's my favorite pattern going into tonight in the ES.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, I think seeing a little bit of a pullback at the end of the day here makes sense. Put a little wick on the daily candle, let all the profit taking settle out, and then tonight we'll see what's what. There's definitely some statement positioning today. Everything held above VWAP, and then after the second bounce off VWAP, she just steadily climbed and then held at this upper level. And sometimes if the upper level is a true steady resistance, I don't know if you've seen this as well, Matt, but when we hit that true resistance and sellers are legit waiting there, like there will be a flush. And that is not what we experienced today when ES
We're not
hit
seeing that today.
6900. No, we're not. And so that's a sign as well of
We're seeing a
bullish.
battle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to bet that battle is not a bearish battle, honestly. I'm willing to bet that battle is bulls pushing it up and bulls locking in profit off that initial move.
Same.
I think
Exactly.
it's
The bulls
bull on
are.
bull crime right now.
Mm-hmm.
If we
Exactly.
did
Yep.
see that flush, that would have been a bearish move. But I see this
Yep.
as bull on bull crime.
Pull on both correct. Bulls talked in profits, and more bulls are holding. Exactly. So all the ways to look at it, all the things you want to be factoring in.
After today's move, if we saw a massive dump tomorrow, it's worst case scenario for the bulls.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good look.
Like if it would have just massively dumped initially, that would have been fine. But after that first hour movement, after the policy statement, after the press conference, after the talking heads, after the overnight session supported, if we dump tomorrow after all of that, yeah,
Would be concerning.
very
Mm-hmm.
for the bulls, very.
Yeah. That would hit a lot of stops. Which would cause
Swing
covering
traders
and-
would hate it for weeks.
Yeah,
Investors would cover immediately.
right. Which would make the selling more exaggerated.
And maybe I'm just projecting there, but I think I'm projecting truthfully amongst every investor and swing trader. They would hate that. It would be a nasty rug pull.
Yeah, it would be a big deal. Knowing that all eyes were on this day, like everyone was waiting to see, and the bulls were strong today. And so that is what people are wanting to see follow through here.
Gabber, that's a wonderful point. It's rare. It's rare. Usually that initial volatility on the policy statement going into the press conference, usually you see wicks on both sides and you finish inside range. That's the normal path. This is an oversized movement right now on Fed Day. And I know that's weird to say with the market not even up 1%, but like usually
it's a stronger trending. Yeah. Sorry, I totally agree. It's a stronger trend move than we see, because oftentimes on FOMC day we'll blow through VWAP once or twice, and today that's why I felt so confident in my last long, because it double bottomed on VWAP, which started sloping up and then started slowing it more aggressively. And for me, that is a one-sided direction, which there was some bearish trades within that on the two little pullbacks we had, but the momentum was up, which is less common with FOMC days. Like I said, usually it does ping around VWAP more.
Yeah.
Ping up and down. So let's see. It's another bullish sentiment.
Got 2 minutes for the close here. Yeah, that was a quick hour.
Yeah. I do love these days. Bummer, you got another cold as well, Matt.
2 in 3 weeks. But I'm actually
Yes.
feeling a lot better today.
Good.
Yesterday, Sunday and yesterday. Monday I felt great. Today I feel great. But Sunday and Tuesday I was like, oh my goodness, couldn't get my head right.
Yeah.
Omar, I'm hungry too. What are you gonna get? I think the Bulls deserve it here today. What are you gonna get? Actually, I think every human being deserves it. We had to deal with the Fed.
The adrenaline coming down. Now we're like, oh, I'm hungry. I need the bathroom. I haven't hydrated. Time to move.
Cafe Rio, Blas. That's a Utah thing right there, brother. That place was founded there in old Utah.
We don't have that
You
where I'm
can't.
from.
Oh no, you can't say anything bad about Cafe Rio in Utah. It's like, even though in my opinion they have went downhill. Tacos sound good. Tacos sound fantastic, actually. Well, team, we got a bull move after the Fed, but we don't got a pump after the Fed. We got right back up into resistance, and now very interesting going into the overnight session here as the market is battling massive levels of resistance. It's not easy to break. Even on a catalyst day, we didn't break through those ultimate resistance levels on the daily chart. Obviously, going to be very interesting going into the overnight session here. And then tomorrow, obviously, we'll be breaking it down again. Got the Trading Lab tomorrow as well. And we will be most likely going through post-Fed analysis. What could we have learned? What could we have done differently in the lab here tomorrow as well? With that said, Becky, have a wonderful rest of your day. Final thoughts for you?
Same. Today was enjoyable. I appreciate the team here at Blue Sky. Really good energy with everyone. And I had a great time today. And have a great evening, everyone.
Later, team. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. Appreciate all of our coaches today, especially Mike for popping in today. Don't forget, we've got some great sales going on. We've also got that new promotion going on. The direct to funded accounts are now on sale. So check that out. We got a 20%, 20 and 25% off sale on direct to funded and instant sim funded accounts. So we've got that sale going on. We will see you all tomorrow morning, bright and early. So don't forget, you can catch us here in the pre-market 30 minutes before the open. You catch my morning levels on NQ, ES, and gold. All right, team. As always, have a great day. Good luck in the market. See y'all tomorrow.